Hi guys, Dr. Kristie Ennis. Today we have a series of exercises that you can do on your own at home to help you after your hip replacement. Now keep in mind that you always want to check with your surgeon first to make sure that these fit in with your specific protocol. And most of these that we are going to go over today also do follow that anterior, that's the front kind of cut. So keep that in mind, and we're going to get started lying down. These first exercises that we're going to go over are all going to be done in bed. I know I'm on the floor, but you do not need to get down on the floor. That would not be fun and enjoyable, certainly. Also, this tends to be for that first week of exercises. So you're going to just be comfortable in your bed. And literally all you're doing is taking those ankles and pointing them up and down. We're getting blood flow going and getting that muscle pump working. You can do about 10 to 15 of these, and you can do these multiple times a day. Next one is a glute squeeze. So you are literally taking those butt cheeks and squeezing them together. I had a patient once say it's like you have a $100 bill back there and you're trying to squeeze it for dear life. You don't want to lose that bill. So if you can see as I'm lying down, you can almost see that I'm coming up and down here. It's kind of how you know when you're doing it right. And about 10 to 15 multiple times a day for this too. Next one is a little bit more about range of motion. This is the non-surgical hip, so you can do whatever you want with that other leg, whatever's comfortable. But we're taking that heel and we're sliding it up so we're bending that knee. Now, you may find that it's a little bit stiff feeling right in the beginning of these. So as you go on and do more, you'll probably get a little bit better range of motion. Again, just keep in mind if you have any limitations on how far you're supposed to flex your hip, make sure that you don't go too far. But if you can see even here, I'm not even close to 90 degrees with that hip. So usually these are perfectly okay. Same position for the next one. This time we're working on bringing that leg out to the side and back to the middle. So for this, make sure that your toes are pointed straight up. A lot of times our doctors want to make sure that we're not rotating that leg, so that is important. And then you're not crossing the midline with this. And midline, right, is just straight that center. So you can go out and in, but you don't want to cross it all the way over. And same number of repetitions with this one also. Next one, we're going to engage in the hamstring muscles a little. So kind of like you're starting that heel slide, just going to bend that heel up a little, and then you're going to push that heel right down into the bed to feel the muscles in the back of the leg engage. I usually have people start with about 5 seconds or so and then let it relax. And again, about 10 to 15 repetitions. All right, this one is going to work the front of the leg, so those quad muscles. So this time, you're going to think about trying to press that kneecap down as you squeeze the front of that knee. I do find sometimes it helps if you bring the toes up towards you too. Same idea as far as about 5 seconds or so. Next one is actually a way to get a nice gentle stretch in that hip. So if it's, again, my left hip that has been operated on, you're going to take the right leg. You can grab behind the thigh. If you've got the flexibility, you can grab onto the shin, whatever feels better for you. You're actually going to bring that in towards your chest. What you'll probably see is this other leg's going to pop up a little bit, but it's going to help get, like I said, a nice gentle stretch. So if it starts to hurt at all, make sure that you let go of that opposite leg a little bit so that you're only getting a nice gentle slight pull. And typically about 3 to 5 breaths for this one, and you're only doing it on this side. You don't want to bring this one all the way up to your chest just yet. This next one is going to work those quads a little bit more, and this time you actually do need just a little piece of equipment. If you happen to have a foam roller lying around, you can use that. You can roll up some like a bath towel, just something so that it helps keep that leg a little bit elevated and you have a little bend in that knee. And then you're just taking that lower leg and coming right up. So again, working on that quad, you can think about squeezing into that muscle again a little bit as well, and you can hold this one for a few seconds as well. This last one tends to be one you can do in the first week as well. Sometimes you need to wait until that second week. Also make sure that as you're sitting, if you're not supposed to have that hip go above 90 degrees, you're in a chair that allows that, or doesn't allow that, I should say. In other words, you're definitely not going to bend forward, right? We're going to sit against that backrest. And then it's literally just an addition of kind of what we were doing before. So I'm squeezing that quad, getting some range of motion. Then I'm going to pull that heel back, keeping my leg, my upper leg on the chair. So quads and extension this way, hamstring and flexion in the knee that way. This one you don't really have to hold, you certainly can if you want, but again, about those 10 or 15 repetitions. These next set of exercises are usually beyond that first week. So it's okay even if those first week exercises take you a couple weeks to get comfortable with. You don't want to start progressing to some of the standing things until you feel A, comfortable standing, and B, that your muscles are going to work and support you. So again, this is roughly 2 to 3 weeks, but use your own judgment on how you feel. So you want something nice and sturdy to hang on to, and I'm literally just going to do a very tiny little motion. So it's not a full squat, it's not a deep knee bend, it's just working on getting that range of motion in through some of the hip and even in through that lower leg a little bit. So you can hang on to a counter too, that tends to work, but I do like the chair option. If you have a super sturdy walker, you can use that as well and start out with about 10. Next one, still using that chair, you're gonna come up onto those toes. And again, this is a little bit of a balance, right? So it's okay to challenge your balance a little as long as you are steady, but make sure that you've got this nice sturdy thing to hang on to a little bit. As you're starting out, you may find that you can't come all the way up onto your toes, and the more you do, you may find that you're able to progress a little bit more. And if it is too much to do, you can actually even start these seated in the beginning time frame as well. Next one is another standing one, but you don't want to do this one until you really do have good balance. And typically, if you have gotten rid of your assistive device, so no walker, no cane, because you do have to do a little bit more work with this one. So you're going to hang on with one hand. The other leg, or this is my surgical leg, is going to come out to the side. You're going to bring it to the back without leaning your body forward, and then you're going to bring it straight out in front. Again, this time without leaning backwards. So it's just kind of alternating. So in other words, anytime that you're doing these, you're keeping your body nice and straight and aligned, and you're just going to start out with this side. Once you get beyond those first few weeks that month, you can certainly even start to do these on this side where you're standing. Got to get a little bit stronger first. These next two exercises are seated, and you need a towel for the first one and a pillow for the second one. So I know this is actually a hospital gown. You could use that too, or a sheet. I'm gonna bring my feet together. I'm gonna place this around my thighs, and I'm gonna pull a little bit so I have just a touch of resistance. And then I'm really doing a tiny push out against the resistance of that towel. Pause for a few seconds, let it go. So it's just repeating that back and forth. And for this one, about 10 repetitions as well. So last one, work the outer thighs. Now we're gonna switch it up, work those inner thighs, which is where the pillow comes into play. So you're just gonna bring that in between your legs. You can move it up a little bit if it's uncomfortable. You can move it down a little bit if it's uncomfortable. Not one specific spot it has to be. And then again, you're adding that squeeze, nice and gentle, no pain. Pause for a few seconds and then let go. The great thing about this one and the one previously is that you have control of how much pressure you're applying. So it's okay to go a little bit more if it feels good, doesn't hurt, and it feels like it's working and not shaking. That's the other thing to keep in mind too. We don't want to overdo it. And again, about 10 repetitions. Last one is lying down again. If you can get on the floor, awesome. But again, you don't need to. You can do this right in bed. You're going to bring those heels up so they're flat on the floor. If you can bring them closer to your butt, you can, but again, keep pain and discomfort in mind as you do this. Hands are gonna come down by your side, and you're gonna lift up. Now, as you do this, you're lifting your butt up. You may only be able to lift a little bit up right at the start. That's okay, right? We wanna start wherever it is that we're at. It's more about being persistent and consistent than how much you got. As it feels a little bit better and those hips open up a little, the glutes work a little bit, you might be able to lift yourself up a little bit higher. Make sure you only lift as high up as you can without arching through any part of the spine, the rib cage or that lower spine. And again, shoot for 10 repetitions to start with.